Well, hello everyone. Welcome to GameHounds. We are back. We are actually very close to being on time. We were actually ready a minute and a half ago, which would have made us completely on time. But at least today, we're not totally off, like 20 minutes late. How's things? We're starting the show. Nick and I have already done our pre-show stuff, so we don't have much to talk about, except the fact that Nick has a new headset. Look at that. No wires. I bought him a headset. Tell it. Oop. Why can't I hear you? Nick?
Yeah, I'm just messing with you.
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. That's such a good mic that the quiet is very quiet. So it does sound like you are muted. So show us your headset. Tell us what you got.
Corsair something?
Virtuoso. Yeah.
And it's cool. It's wireless, which is great.
The mic sounds really good.
The mic says I don't understand how the mic works because I assume you can still hear me.
Yes.
I'm looking at it and it doesn't have the fuzziness that a microphone does. It's just
the fuzziness is just
metal,
the fuzziness.
So I have no idea how it's actually
right. But I mean, this fuzziness. I mean, I'm sorry for all the extra like.
Yeah,
noise,
that
this
fuzziness. Yes.
It's just a fuzzy.
Yeah, but you have
it's to keep this from happening.
But you have that mesh underneath. There's no mesh on this mic.
That's true. There is no mesh on the mic. But sorry, there we go. There is no mesh on that mic, but I can't explain. I don't know why, but it sounds good, and it is it looks good.
Yeah, I will say I was playing Elden Ring with it last night, and it's interesting playing that game with headphones because I hear so much more.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, every step has a sound effect associated with it. I can hear like the little drips of water of like something in the background, like oh, it's like, oh wow.
All of a sudden you hear more game.
It's the world is alive.
And you can have stuff like arriving and like be there for you. Like you can hear things coming at you from and which direction it's coming at you from.
It did make things a little freakier because I would be walking along and I'd hear something like, shh, where is it?
Well, I'm glad that you enjoy them. It is it is an early Christmas / birthday / thanks for being with the podcast gift.
Thank you. Yeah. Merry Christmas to you as well. Merry Christmas to all.
We got Gamer Temeral in the chat room who says, I got a Pulse for the PS5. Love it. Yeah, I have yet to. I got one for myself because the headset I had for the PlayStation 5, if you would all listen to us doing the Forgotten City shows, going back and listening to it, I realized that headset is, I mean, it's fine for communicating to each other when we're not really paying attention, like when we don't care. But when we're streaming, it really, really, really doesn't sound good. So I splurged for myself. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to splurge for Nick too. So we both have a set, although I'm still going to be using this for the podcasts. Yes, thank you for reminding AC Wraith, our link bitch. GameHounds is trying to reach an algorithm milestone on Twitch. If you are listening on YouTube and you have a Twitch account, might I just ask if you can switch over to Twitch? We are like 0.2 of a listener crossing a milestone.
You were streaming Crusader Kings the other night, and I saw you had 7 people that were watching.
Yes, people are starting to watch this shit.
How does that not put us over the top? That's 7
It's over
people.
30 days. It's for 30 days.
Fuck you, Twitch.
So I've got a bunch of low streams that have fallen off. need to fall off. But in the meantime, we need to like keep pumping that up. I mean, if we had 500 people listen right now, we would cross it no matter what. So the more is better. So please join us over on our Twitch. And that is our Twitch right there. Twitch.tv/The GameHounds. Would love to have you there. All right. So we need to start the show in earnest. And that's bonus content for you for watching, because of course we're not going to talk about the headset on the show, because, you know, on the actual podcast. We are playing. All right. We are in and up and running, which is awesome. I have waveforms. Checkity. Yes. Do you have waveforms?
Checkity.
No, you do not. Why not? This is why. Oh, I know why. And it's why my waveforms look like ass.
Hello, Dark Method. I don't think we've seen you before.
Hi, Dark Method. It is because I am using the wrong thing. We want to do, we could use either one of those. Yeah, we could use that. All right, let's try that. Oop. Stand by. Checkity. Oh, that's much better. How about you?
Checkity.
Still nothing. USB so far. Oh, I know why. Sorry, because I was doing shows on Stardew Valley, things got a little goofed up. I need to click back for the loop back audio podcast. Audacity podcast. Audacity new podcast. Yes, that is what we want. Okay. Now, the virtual machine is created. I have to quit that. Don't save. No. We have to go into Audacity again. Sorry for the technical issues. We need to go to the Audacity new podcast and record that. Check. Yes. Nick?
Check.
Yay, there we go. We have waveforms. That's why we check for waveforms, because things sometimes happen on the show. Let's see. Dark Method said, I just followed longtime listener known as Pimp Method. Oh, I remembered you back in the early days of the gaming. Yes. Holy crap. Welcome back. What has it been? It's been at least a decade since I saw you. Yeah. And back when Cooper Hawks was hosting. Yeah, that was a long time ago. What was it? That like 12 years ago, 13 years ago? So it's been a while. Been a minute. Welcome back. And if you haven't met Nick, that's Nick. That's the new Hawks. I mean,
that
new is in like 12 years ago.
Wait, which way? There. That's Nick right there.
Oh, that's the Nick right
Yeah,
over
that's
there, the cat. All right. That is that's one of two that Nick has. All right, so let's actually start the show, okay? Then we'll get into stuff. We have a lot to talk about this week. All right, starting the show.
Podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 652. We are recording this on Sunday, September 11th, 2022, a day that will live in infamy. With me, I got Edie Sellers. We've also got Nick and Nick's cat, who's apparently taking a lot of your attention right now.
He's trying to get underneath the back pillow of the couch. No, now he's digging into the blanket.
Okay, cats gotta be cats.
He's gonna fall off. I swear to God, it falls off.
Oh, all right. Let's halt the podcast. I apologize to all the podcast listeners
No, we can
on
keep
iTunes
going.
and everywhere else because you're gonna miss when that cat goes over. Oh,
Oh,
and he almost fell. He's burritoed himself on the couch behind Nick. Does not realize how precarious his life is right now. Come on, fall over. Okay, the suspense is killing me on this one.
you know, Jupiter.
So we've got a lot to talk about, Nick. This show. Oh my God! Just Ubisoft Forward was a whole show in and of itself.
Yeah.
Just the Assassin's Creed announcements this week was enough to fill a whole show. But we aren't going to do that. First, we're going to talk about, we will eventually talk about it. But first, we're going to talk about the games that we played this week. You and I have played quite a bit together. Last Sunday, as promised, you made me go back to Forgotten City. I checked. That was last Sunday. It was a week ago, last Sunday. You made me go back after playing 2, streams of Forgotten City and ending the game in the earliest, not intentionally, just happened to be that I made a decision that ended the game. And you were like, you have to go back. You have to go back and undo that decision and continue to play because you have not found anything. You're not even close to being at the end of the game. And you were absolutely right. The ending to that game is so wackadoo. Completely wackadoo.
It goes places.
It definitely goes places. At the same time, it is totally wackadoo, and yet they've done the right thing. A good lie is, or a lie is best when it has an element of truth to it. A story like this is best when it has an element to truth to it. And this has a lots of elements of historical truths that make you go, shit.
Yeah, like
whoa, this is plausible. Not likely, like I said, it's totally wackadoo, but it is technically plausible.
the way it plays with the idea of like each religion being based on a religion before it, and like these beliefs are just kind of recycled, and how that's physically represented in this single city is really, really cool. And the way they tie all that into the larger story about the secret of the Forgotten City is really cool.
Yeah. And
he's walking out the door.
Bummer. So yeah, really, really, really good. I am glad you made me go back. I ended up getting, quote unquote, without your help, getting the best ending. I was able to logic my way through it of how I should answer and got all the right answers and saved everybody in the city. Absolutely everyone in the city that I didn't murder on my own, I saved, which was kind of very satisfying in that the first ending I had only saved me and one other person, and killed everybody else. The second ending I got was the polar opposite. I got everybody saved. And yeah, I even got the bad guys saved and then found out what happened to them afterwards, which was really awesome.
You get like a nice kind of epilogue for each character.
Yeah. And they did a really good job with the epilogues. Some of them are fucking hilarious. But yeah, really satisfying. Would I recommend this game? Abso-freaking-lutely, as long as you did not see any streams or anything about it, because this is a game that is a spoiler game. However you decide, it's like that. What was the one we did before that with the and I keep forgetting the name.
As Dusk Falls.
As Dusk Falls. As Dusk Falls has so many decisions that you can't really ruin it for someone because there's so many different thread storylines that you can go through based on the decisions that you make. Your game will be completely different than somebody else's game. In this case, there's a lot of mysteries. And if you know the answer to the mysteries by watching somebody else's stream, you kind of wreck it. So I would recommend everyone get it. It is a really good game. It's what, $20? $24? I think it's $24. $24.99 right now.
Got a Discord message. I think Jaeger says that it's currently $2 on the Switch eShop.
No. The Forgotten City is $2?
Yeah, on the eShop. No, on the Switch.
Beyond worth it. Beyond worth it. I was going to recommend that if you get it, wait for a sale. It is completely worth $25. But I would feel like much better about it if it was 15. If it was 15, it would be an absolute go out, buy it. I think it's perfectly priced because it's just at that level where you wouldn't go, so worth it. But it's not at the level where you'd be like, so not worth it. It's perfectly priced for what it is. But if you can get it on sale, get it on sale. And $2 is no question. Without doubt, pick it up. Even if you saw that price, I would say even if you saw part of the stream, go get it.
Oh,
really,
he might also be talking about a Ubisoft game.
Oh, that might be different.
Yeah.
The Forgotten City is who did it?
I don't know. It's an indie developer.
Yeah. It actually started out, as Nick was explaining to me, it started out as a Skyrim mod. That when they started in on it, and then it just got really, really big.
And there's a cool behind-the-scenes video. I think Polygon might have done it of him, the lead developer, talking about the process of changing it from a Skyrim mod into a game, and how, well, you have a bunch of different races in Skyrim. And he's like, well, if we're going to set it in Rome, we can't have lizard people walking around. So what do we do?
Yep.
How do we switch and change around the story to incorporate that? And it's like, even the layout of the city had to change because he's like, well, we want it to look like it's in a cave and stuff, but we also need light coming through. So how do we set it in like a cave that looks like you can't escape, but still have light? Because I guess in the Skyrim mod, there was like a Dwemer, golden sun thing in the center giving off light. So it's like, okay, we have to change how that's designed. We have to switch the level. We have to change the characters. And then he's like, as we research Roman history, like we have to incorporate some of that. So he's like, well, we can't do X, Y, and Z because that wouldn't have happened in Rome. How do we get them to do it? And it's fascinating video about how one decision impacts another and then another and then another and another. It's like we change one thing, so we just have to change 50 other things.
Yep. But well done. Very well done. Can't complain. Think it's wonderful. Pick it up. That's my review of Forgotten City. Worth it at its current price. A good buy at its current price. A great buy at any price lower. If it goes down to $15 or even $20 is a very good buy. $15 is a don't even think about it. Just pick it up. So yeah, and then of the other thing that I played was Crusader Kings. The Friends and Foe DLC dropped. That dropped on Thursday. And Friday, I think it was. Saturday, I did the, I actually started a whole new campaign, just playing it straight, not trying any challenges, not trying the incest is best as long as you keep it in the family trial, not trying anything, destroy Catholicism, nothing like that. Just playing a straight ass game. And actually this time, because I just wanted to play a straight game, for the first time, I did not pick, not the first time, but since since a really long time ago, since when I pretty much started playing, I did not start as a king or even a duke. I started out as a lowly count. And it is really, really interesting to start this over as a count, because in the process of me trying to like defend my own kingdom or my own counties and keep other people from like trying to take me over and make me part of their duchy, and then also kind of trying to eye the fact that I want that throne. I want that kingdom throne. In that process, there was a war, and I had to decide whose side I was going to go on. And I decided to defend my king because I knew that I would be able to beat that king and get his crown. So I was kind of like on the side of the guy that I know that I'm going to go to war with later. He dies in the middle of it.
Huh.
And now I'm not his heir's property. It's split. They had two kingdoms. They were split between his two sons, and I'm in the kingdom of the other son.
Huh.
And his capital is literally right next to mine. So in order to just actually create the duchy of my capital that has my capital in it and create the kingdom that has my capital in it, I actually have to defeat a king that's got a lot of other stuff just to get that one duchy. It's a really interesting playthrough, and I'm playing Russians. I actually started in Kyiv. No, I started in Lviv. So Western Ukraine. And that's the first time I've actually played in the, Balkan / Russian / Ukrainian Slavic areas. First time I've ever done that. I've always played either England or Norway. I guess that would be Scandinavia. Either played Scandinavian or English or Italy, Europe, Western Europe stuff. I've never really gone past that. So this time I started something that was entirely new, and also with the new DLC. I haven't had a lot of encounters with them, but they're very interesting, these friends and family. First off, you now have, for every character, not just the characters you play, for every character, there is now a stories page that you can see everything that happened in that character's history.
Oh, cool.
In a timeline. So you can see when they got married, when they had a child, when they went to war, what did they win, who did they murder? Well, you don't see who did they murder until you know that they've murdered somebody. But you have all of this background so that you can actually understand what makes them tick a little bit more. And on top of that, the first thing I was introduced to is that there was a neighboring count, and it started out with, I hate that guy. I really hate that guy. And you had a decision to start a house feud with that guy. And I chose not to because it was like literally the first 10 minutes of the game. I'm like, I'm not going to start anything just yet. But eventually, I was given a choice. There's a whole new thing where my son, who is my friend, throws me a birthday party, and I'm given a choice of 3 presents: a big present, a medium present, and a little present. And you have to pick one of them. And I picked the big present, and it was awful.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm really liking the fact that it's making me slow down and read stuff a little bit more. A lot of the stuff I saw was stuff I'd always seen, but this time now, I'm seeing a lot of stuff I haven't seen before. Oh my God, my back is itching all of a sudden. But a lot of the stuff I hadn't seen before.
Oh, you.
Hi, Cat. Hi, Shepherd.
Yeah, I imagine with that, when you play it a lot, you see the same stories again and again. So eventually you're like, you read the first couple words and then you're like, oh, I know what event this is. I know what I want to do.
Yep, absolutely. And you know exactly how it's going to affect stuff. This time it makes you kind of slow down and play it. And I'm also playing this one on Iron Man mode, which I have played before, but I'm being a lot more careful.
Yeah. You can't be rash.
Yeah, you cannot be rash in Crusader Kings when you're playing Iron Man. So if you want to check that out, I play on Thursdays and Saturdays at Thursdays, it is 7 p.m. It'll say on our schedule whether it's going to be 7 or 8 p.m. It depends on what's going on in my life. Saturdays, it is 4 p.m. And it's not always going to be Crusader Kings. I think that this might be the week that you and I go back to
Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain and play it together and fight tooth and nail about this. So yeah, would love to have you join us, and it is only on Twitch, so you got to go over to Twitch for that one. So go follow us, and that way get notifications when we do go live. Gamer Temerol says, I try and play Crusader Kings, however, the tutorial is so long for the PS5. The tutorial is very, very long, and
the tutorial never
not
ends.
not even close to what you need to know. It took me a good month of researching and watching other people's streams and going in and failing miserably to figure out how to play that game. And now it's like, I think I'm actually pretty good at it. I know this game really well, and I'm still watching other people and discovering things that I'm now starting to employ. It is a really, really good game for that. So yeah, there's the link to the Crusader Kings Friends or Foe. If you are a Crusader Kings player, I do want to remind you that I believe it is either on the 12th or the 15th. I think it's the 15th. Maybe it's the 12th. But either way, prices go up for DLC.
Oh, yeah.
So if you are thinking about getting these DLC packs, get them now before they go up. Yeah, so what else? I'm looking at it. We've got Dark Method in the chat room, who we haven't seen in here in forever. Like
since,
at least 10 or 12 years that since we've seen you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he says we haven't seen you since one of those PAXs. Gamer Temerol is asking, where is Dave? You're talking about Goalie. Goalie is no longer with us because he started his own podcast, and he still occasionally drops in the chat rooms. Occasionally comes in here. It's not like there was a acrimonious thing. He just kind of realized that his passion is now tabletop gaming, and does a lot of it. And he has his own show called Digital to Dice. It is on YouTube. He streams, and he also has, leftover stuff. But you can find him, I believe it is digital. If you look it up on YouTube, you'll find it. Digital to Dice. And he plays a lot of tabletop, especially tabletop sports games. Mm-hmm. So, thank you for asking. And he's good. He still sends us stupid jokes on our phone. What was the latest one he sent me? Do I have my phone? Yeah, I have my phone. I'm going to tell you the latest freaking stupid ass joke that Goalie has sent me. And he sends it, of course. He's on the East Coast. So like at 9 o'clock in the morning, his time is 6 a.m. for us. And he sends us crazy ass stupid stuff. This is what I woke up to. What do you call a fake noodle? An impasta. Jesus Christ.
Which is terrible and genius all at the same time.
Yeah. My wife yelled from upstairs and asked, do you ever get a shooting pain across your body like someone's got a voodoo doll and of you and they're stabbing it? I replied, no. She responded, how about now? So he sends us stuff. So he's doing good. All right. So what did you play this week?
More Elden Ring.
Of course. A game that shall not be named.
I am very close to finishing it.
Are you sure?
Are
you sure?
Yes, I'm sure, because I've triggered this end game. I've triggered the end game content, and there's basically, let's say, 2 more locations that I need to explore.
Okay.
A couple more bosses, but I've ran into the infamous Melania.
The let me solo her.
Yes.
God,
and her reputation is well earned. because it's an open world game and I've kind of explored every corner of the world, I've leveled up a lot. And I've over leveled for most of the stuff in the game. So for a lot of what I've been playing, it's been relatively easy, right? It's like, it's not easy, but it's also not hard. Fighting Melania reminds me of like, oh, that's right. This is what boss fights are like in these type of games.
Yeah.
Where I play, I lose, and then I go look up videos about boss strategies. About, hey, when they do this move, watch them. And so I've learned to like watch her hand, how she holds the sword. If she like does something like that, it means she's going to do a quick slash. And I need to know not just that, but then how to dodge it. And so learning all those, upgrading some other things, respecing my character to maximize damage. So I'm in the process of like, okay, this boss is going to take a night or two of just trying over and over again until I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
Thankfully, like I've been able to get to her second phase relatively consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So
Good.
but yeah, once I beat her, I think she is kind of the last big hurdle. And then from there, based on what I've seen other people play, the bosses will again be relatively simple because I've over leveled so much.
Mm-hmm.
And AC Wraith asks if I play with summoned ashes. Hell yes, I do.
What is Summoned Ashes? I have not played this game.
Yeah.
I don't own this game. So this is... Nick seems to think that I might like it. I am thoroughly convinced I would hate it.
I might have to go plug the headphones in a second.
Okay.
But no, I have warned you off of it. Like I say, you might like it, but let's wait and see. We'll get to that later in the show, though.
Mm-hmm.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, the Summoned Ashes. Yes, I absolutely do. In fact, one of the reasons that the fight became easier is because I was using the Mimic Tier Ash a lot, but then I found another Ash called Black Knife Tish, and she is actually much more effective against Melania because she can like trigger this health poison so that she'll basically throw something, hit the boss, and the boss will consistently lose health. And so, but she doesn't aggro the boss when she does that. And so, as I'm there getting distracted, dodging the moves, the Summoned Ash is kind of constantly using this poison attack to lower the health. And that has helped me get to the second phase consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Summoned Ash is absolutely 100%.
No question, huh?
Yeah.
So how do you think you'll be able to do it this week?
Probably.
Yeah.
Like, what you mean, finish the game or beat the boss?
Beat the boss. Well, finish the game.
If I can get past Melania, yeah, I could probably do it this week.
God, she's got a long ass sword.
Yeah, that sword is a pain in the ass.
Let's hope you get her sword.
I think you do.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Oh, you get so many people's swords. The problem is that you have to like respec your character in order to properly use it.
Uh-huh.
And I've respec'd into a specific set of weapons.
Oh, I see. So yeah, you're gonna hopefully do it. Will you make an announcement when you actually get her through her? Because I know that she is very much a benchmark for this game.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll see if when I do it, I will totally save a clip of it on PlayStation.
Will you? Why don't you stream it, Nick? You've got the headset now. Why don't you stream your Melania fight?
Because then I'll be obligated to do it until I beat her, and I don't know if I want to.
No, you don't. No, you just make it Melania Fight Part 2. That's what I did with Nick. I was streaming when I was doing the shooting in the Forgotten City, which was it it couldn't be more embarrassing. Like literally, you saw me how I jump in games. I did not do well. To the point where you started laughing at me at how bad I was doing. So don't worry about it. The Dark Method said the game that shout out reminds me that I need to get back on the Surge.
The Surge was really cool.
Yeah. And AC Wraith said, I also used Black Knife Tish, but I spammed Dark Moon for most of the battle.
Okay. I can.
And we got Vice in the chat room. Hey, Vice, how you doing?
Hi.
And Bloody Reaper says, look at Menace.
Memes?
Is it memes?
Maybe.
You posted something to Discord. Is that in memes that you put that? The Savannah Witch Cream? It's clearly Destiny, but I don't recognize it, so I don't know what it means. Nick's pulling it up.
Oh no, I haven't seen it.
Okay. So we'll pull that up. Nick will probably pull it up. So any other games did you play, sir, before we start talking about Ubisoft?
Oh, I see. Witch Cream instead of the Witch Queen.
Oh, got it. Okay. All right. Let me pull that up. So I have to stop my screen. I have to share a different screen.
No, but what I did do is I made a fantasy football team. And got into a survivor pool. And
Lady Namiscu's bathwater.
Oh, jeez. And that has been fun to like look at the numbers and basically build a team that's like an RPG. It's like Final Fantasy Tactics, but with football. And then watching the actual teams play and realizing like, oh shit, none of these numbers are accurate. This is all worthless.
It's life is not just a game.
I know. For the survivor pool,
because that's how you said you were going after this.
Oh yeah.
You said when you said, "Oh, I'm doing a fantasy football," I'm like, "You don't even like football, Nick," and you're like,
I enjoy it.
I'm just approaching this as a game. I'm just getting all the stats. I'm picking people based on their stats, and I'm thinking to myself, Nick, if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it.
But you know what? So far, we've been doing pretty well.
Really?
Yeah. With the survivor pool, we chose New Orleans over Atlanta because like Atlanta was one of the bottom ranked teams.
This is Survivor, the television series.
No, this is a survivor pool, meaning that each week you make a bet on a game about who will win.
Oh, okay.
If you lose that bet, you're out.
Got it. So it's just a running every week. Got it.
But you can only pick the same team to win one time.
Oh.
So if I pick the Patriots to win this week, and they do, I can't pick them for the rest of the season.
Nick, look at you knowing football teams.
I know the teams' names.
You didn't know? I don't. Did you know the teams' names before?
Yeah.
Really?
I have a general passing knowledge of football.
Okay, all right.
But anyways, my point is we picked New Orleans to win, and they did. Do you guess by how much?
How much? I have no idea. I don't watch football. 1 point?
1 point.
Oh.
Only because in the fourth quarter, they came back to score 17 points.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. So what, 2 touchdowns and a field goal, right?
Yep.
Jeez, that's a good quarter.
I know. But I'm happy with the pick because the top ranked team, San Francisco, lost. So I'm feeling pretty good about my pick.
Good. So yeah, all right. Any other games that you played? I mean, we've gone over fantasy football and Elden Ring. I can't imagine that you would have time to play anything else. And you did play, Forgotten City with me.
That's true. And
you did play one more game.
Right. We played some Stardew Valley.
You went back to Stardew Valley, even though that first game that we played, you were like, fuck Stardew Valley. I don't like this game. This sucks. And I'm like, you really need to give it a little bit more time than just, an hour of actual gameplay. So we went back to it. And we are now almost through spring year one. So we're heading into summer year one.
I can see I got a better sense of the pace of it, of the flow of it, and all that. And so I can see how people could get really into it. I don't know if it's a game I want to get really into. I don't know if I would play it off the stream, but like, I see the appeal.
And you haven't really made any friends. You have literally no stars. I don't think you have any stars with anyone or any hearts with anyone.
No, nobody wanted to dance with me at the flower bowl.
But I don't even think that you have like a basing path. I think people know who you are, but they know nothing about you.
Oh yeah, I'm that hermit that's like always farming up in the corner. He never comes to town.
And you've started dungeon crawling. We got to level 40 in the dungeon. So we did that first one. Now we have to go to level 100.
That's a big jump.
That's a very big jump. But there's a lot more to come, my friend. A lot more to come. So, that's very much a thing happening. We've got the Jumanjis, Jujubes, whatever they are. We got a couple of those things done in the community center. So, yeah, you're starting to see it form a little bit. And I think that you need to, I would love to have you get through your first year. Because seasons very much make a difference. And I would say the first 2 seasons really don't make that much difference, spring and summer, because they're very similar. When you get into fall, you start to understand that things change, very much so. And then by winter, you're like, oh, like my first winter caught me off guard. And I was not prepared for it. It did not go well because you can't plant anything in winter.
See, I don't know if I want to stick with it for that long.
I think you should. I think you will be pleasantly surprised. This is very much like that Forgotten City in that there's a lot there that you don't even know what's there.
Okay, well, we'll have to make a new bed.
A new bet?
A new bed. A new trade? A new wager?
Okay, a wager.
Yeah, well, a new switch, right? Like you played Forgotten City, I played Stardew Valley.
Okay.
Well, and again, we'll get to that one later.
Are you going to make me play Elden Ring?
No.
Okay, good.
But I will make you play a Souls-like.
Oh, fuck. Well, if you're going to do a Souls-like, why wouldn't you have me play Elden Ring? I mean, that is the best Souls-like.
Well, do you want to get into the news?
All right. This makes me nervous. So should we hit the news, Nick? So I can find out how you're going to torture me?
Let's get into the news.
Okay. Let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds news, the news and commentary of the week in gaming with a very scared gamer Edie and a very suspicious Nick DiNicola. Our first item is...
So...
we're not going to talk about Ubisoft Forward. We're going to talk about what Nick is going to torture me with.
Yes.
All right. Tell Edie about Steel Rising. That is the banner. Okay.
This is from the developers of Greedfall. It is a Souls-like game, but what kind of separates it is that it has a ton of accessibility options to mess with the difficulty and change how things go. Mm-hmm. One of the cool things I read about in a review is that you can change the damage output so that you basically take no damage from enemies or bosses. Mm-hmm. And what that means is basically it allows you to turn a boss into a sparring partner for a while. So instead of, in Elden Ring, me fighting Melania and okay, I want to practice dodging and I'm dead. That wouldn't happen because in Steel Rising, you could have changed the enemy output to do 0 damage, so that I can just, in theory, if this was an Elden Ring, I could test myself against Millennia, watch her moves, learn how to dodge her attacks without dying. I would still need to go through the process of beating her, but I would have a chance to like practice and just practice over and over again, turn them into a sparring partner. And the game has a lot of options like that, where you can choose one of the staples of this genre, the subgenre, is that, as you kill enemies, you get experience points, but if you die, you drop those experience points. And you then have to go pick them up, like doing a corpse run in an MMO. You can turn that off for Steel Rising. And so that you always retain.
So it's a rogue. It's a Souls-like light.
Yes, yeah, it's a Souls light.
Yes, a soul. That's very good. All right, everyone, go use that phrase and give us credit. It's a Souls light.
So yeah, I have not played it yet, so I don't actually know how it feels. But from what I understand, I've played the developers' other games. I've played Spider's other games.
This is Spiders?
This is Spiders.
Yeah, they did. What was that game that I hated the first boss fight, and then everything else was Greedfall, and I hated the end of that game. Hated the end of that game, but it was a good game up until the beginning and the end.
So yeah, they are a good B tier developer, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say double A developer.
Okay.
They're not AAA, but they're in the neighborhood. They make solid games.
Yeah, I remember it's been interesting seeing their progress, because I remember playing some of their downloadable RPGs in like the early 360 days, when it was like, hey, here's this $15 RPG, and being like, hey, this is actually pretty decent. And then watching them slowly grow to make more ambitious games. So yes, if you were to play a Souls-like, I would recommend starting with this one, because from the sound, not necessarily because it's the best one, but because it gives you enough accessibility options to change the difficulty in a way
to not make your life miserable.
Yeah.
Or my life miserable. You love this shit. I do not.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. There is the wager. If you continue with Stardew Valley, of us playing together, I will start playing Steel Rising with you, and you can guide me through this.
Okay. Maybe I should then probably buy Steel Rising too, just so I could actually be able to guide you through it.
Oh, you haven't played it?
Oh no, I haven't.
Oh. All right.
I'm just saying
what
I've heard.
I should just buy it and then theoretically you should be playing these games when you tell me about them. But all right, I'll pick this up.
I would like to, and I will probably pick it up, but I need to beat the other one first.
You're very close.
There's a lot of other games I would like to play, but I need to finish Elden Ring. When
you finish Elden Ring, then we can do this. We'll do this together.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Right. Sounds like a plan.
Anyways,
I can't believe that we wasted the top news ticker for that bullshit.
Hey, that's called a segue.
All right. What is the segue to?
Hey, let's talk about Call of Duty.
No.
Okay.
No.
Wait, back up.
No.
No. Okay, the segue is Steel Rising takes place in a steampunk Victorian setting. You know what
Paris.
else took place in a Victorian?
No.
Assassin's Creed.
No. Yes. Oh,
Assassin's
okay.
Creed took place in a Victorian setting.
That's right. And it also took place in Paris. So excellent. All right. So let's talk about Ubisoft Forward.
Well, they announced a bunch of Assassin's Creed stuff and some other things.
They didn't just announce some Assassin's Creed stuff. They announced so much Assassin's Creed stuff. Now it is absolutely clear to me. I thought it was really strange that their game got leaked 4 or 5 days before the Ubisoft Forward, and then they confirm that is the leak is accurate. And I've never seen that happen, really. I mean, maybe it's happened, but it's exceedingly rare that a major AAA game the name gets leaked, the screenshots get leaked, and the company immediately confirms. And then I realized why. Because that Assassin's Creed Mirage was quite literally the tip of an enormous iceberg of Assassin's Creed stuff that they're going to raft into you in the next few years. So let's go over what was said. It is going to be Assassin's Creed World for you in the next several years. So we don't know exact dates on a lot of this, but we have time frames.
we don't even have names for a lot of them. Just code names.
We have code names, right? So let's go over it. Assassin's Creed Mirage. We know about that, and they did confirm they're going back to the Middle East. And they're going to go to Basim. It is going to be Basim, 20 years, who was in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, was kind of like the trainer for the assassins that Ivor meets up with. Ivor meets up with. Basim, you are going to be with him 20 years before Valhalla as he becomes indoctrinated into the assassins. You start out as a street thief, and you eventually progress to assassin. It is going to be set, at least beginning, in Baghdad. They're promising that it is a return to old school Assassin's Creed with stealth and parkour, narrative driven. And another thing that was that they dropped information that was dropped on that day is that Basim's mentor, Rusin, is going to be voiced by Shorhe Agdashlu, who is, if you are not familiar with the name, she was the counselor, the Gravity Voice counselor, who was in Ascent.
She's one of those actresses that you
voice.
Probably don't know her name, but the moment you hear her, you're like,
oh,
I know that
voice.
person.
And she's really cool.
Yeah.
She's gonna be she's amazing, and she's perfect as for a voice of an assassin tutor in Baghdad, because of course she's Middle Eastern, so she's got the accent straight out. Anyway, so we know that it is coming out in 2023. No other information than that. If you pre-order, you will get for free a 40 Thieves side quest, which was something that was leaked by the leaker a couple of weeks ago. So there's going to be a 40 Thieves side quest. It's also going to have a collector's edition with a collector's case and all the other giga that goes with it.
Yeah.
In addition, they announced...
Okay. I just want to say, I was a little disappointed by the Mirage trailer because based on all the rumors, it's a return to form, the stealth, is this. I was expecting more of a gameplay trailer, and instead it was just a CG trailer.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because, it's not coming out for a year, but it still felt like all the CG trailer did was just like confirm the rumors, and at this point I was kind of hoping for something to expand upon the rumors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was not much. Well, if you think of it this way, they spent of a 45-minute show 15 minutes talking about Assassin's Creed. They still had to talk about all the other games they've got going. So they're tight for time. And I don't blame them. They probably already had all those pre-recorded announcements recorded. So the stuff that we learned wasn't new. And really, all that leak managed to do is spoil the announcement, because there wasn't much more beyond the that leak that was announced.
Yes.
So it acted as a spoiler. And I don't blame them for that because that was what they were planning to announce. And they, like I said, they probably recorded all of the interviews, all of the information. It wasn't done live. There was no live anything on that. It was all pre-recorded shit. So, whoever did it didn't do us any favors. All right. So, in addition, there is a new documentary that is out as of yesterday when they had the Ubisoft Forward. That's going to be looking at the last 15 years of Assassin's Creed because this is the 15th anniversary of the IP.
And I will say, the way they've done the 15 in the Assassin's Creed logo is pretty slick.
It is. It's very nice. So yeah, it's on the the Ubisoft and the and I believe it is on the Assassin's Creed YouTube channel. Maybe there's a YouTube channel that have it. Yeah, it's on Ubisoft. In addition, they also announced more content for Valhalla. It is the last chapter of Ivar's story.
It's literally
called
the last chapter.
The last chapter, yeah. So Ivor is going to finally leave the settlement. It's no spoiler about that. It was known because even in the original game, they talked about how there were Viking settlements found in North America and intimating that Ivor was the person who showed up in North America. So we knew that Ivor was going to leave. This is the last chapter is when Ivor leaves the settlement. Of course, it's going to be, like we know, it's going to be Nova Scotia, North America. It is a free quest line. Ivor is going to reunite with some characters, as well as some influential historical characters as well. So it's not going to be just Ivar and C and showing up. It's going to be people being encountered. And of course, I would imagine those people will probably show up or be connected to a future Assassin's Creed. And when I say a future Assassin's Creed, I mean a lot of them. First off, Assassin's Creed is officially going to Asia for the first time, starting out with...
They've been set in Asia before.
Far East. The Far East Asia.
Not the mainline games, but there have been like 2D side-scrollers in India and China.
Okay, I didn't know that. Well, anyway, main game. The main game is going to be going to Asia, as well as other games. First off, we have... let's see.
AC Wraith in chat said that he downloaded Valhalla because Ubisoft. One of the things they announced is
free month of Ubisoft Plus.
Ubisoft Plus for free, and he's been playing Valhalla. He's been playing Watchdog Legions, and he's testing out Valhalla. But if you can get to the end of Valhalla in a month,
if you can get the end of the fucking opening credits of Valhalla in a month, I would be impressed. It took me 2.5 days to get to the opening credits in that game. So, yes, Assassin's Creed codename Jade is going to be set in China. Now, this is not a main game. This is the first open world Assassin's Creed mobile game. They said, quote unquote, it is optimized for an experience with touch controls. Mobile game. Oof, got hair in my mouth. Mobile game, read microtransactions, and probably a lot of them. Oh, hold on. I had hair in my mouth. There we go. That also will be the first time that they're going to allow you to create your own character in an Assassin's Creed game. In addition to that, they also announced that the game after, the next full game after Mirage, is going to be Assassin's Creed codename Red at the moment. It is going to be set finally, because it has been asked for years and years. It is going to be set in Japan. That is going to be the next premium flagship title after Mirage. Let's see. It is going to be done by Ubisoft Quebec.
I gotta go get a plug for the mic.
Okay. The players are going to explore one of the more asked for settings. It is by far, I think, probably the most asked for setting for an Assassin's Creed game. Feudal Japan. They said, quote unquote, it'll be your shinobi fantasy. In addition, we have another flagship ship title announced. I'm assuming that we are talking now 3 games ahead. Codename Hexe. They said it's going to be a different kind of Assassin's Creed game. This was a quote. Clint Hawking is going to be working on it. It had a very mysterious trailer of an Assassin's Creed symbol made out of twigs. I couldn't figure anything out. The first thing I thought was Blair Witch.
Yes, I'm actually... Okay. Of all the things they announced...
Yeah.
That is probably the only one that I'm legit, like, immediately interested in. Because it seemed so different and weird. Like, the idea of somehow adding witchcraft into Assassin's Creed, I think is really cool.
Yeah. It's so, and there was a they threw Easter eggs in there. There was a sound of dogs barking, and in the background I could hear a man yelling, but I cannot hear what he's saying. But it's the woods. There is a wooden Assassin's Creed symbol that's hanging from a tree, like in witches in like Blair Witch. Where was Blair Witch set?
Pacific Northwest?
No. It was East Coast.
Maine?
Blair Witch setting.
Big city? No, not big city. Big forest.
Burkittsville, Maryland.
Okay.
So yeah, I knew it was East Coast. So yeah. It may very well be. They very well be in those forests because, I mean, Salem, witch trials, the whole 9 yards. That would be super interesting to tie the Salem witch trials into this.
Yeah. Especially when you consider the whole, like, artifacts that give people magical powers. Give those to someone during that time. They could easily be accused of witchcraft.
Yep. So it may be coming back to North America. And it may be coming back to Goalie's neck of the woods. Nope. What are you doing? Oh, the cat hair? Nick's over. He's muted his mic, blowing into the air, blowing on his hands.
God.
So much cat hair everywhere. So much cat hair. I've actually literally got hair on my tongue I can't get rid of.
I know. I'm
so
sorry.
Much cat hair, you gave it to me.
I was holding Jupiter, and it's just all the cat hair. It went through the mic.
So, that was announced. Then, more Assassin's Creed news. There is a TV show that they're developing with Netflix. Showrunner of Jeb Stewart. They're still working on that. It's not the only thing that they're doing with Netflix. They are also doing a mobile game for their platform, their gaming platform, Netflix Games, as well.
You've seen Vikings. Have you seen Vikings Valhalla? The Netflix spinoff?
No.
Okay, because I know the showrunner of that is going to be the showrunner of this Assassin's Creed show.
Okay, so that's Jeb Stewart.
Yeah. And so I was asking you, like, is Valhalla any good?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know. But they're also doing another mobile game with Netflix. They showed figurines, a Assassin's Creed podcast, an excess of history. There's a novel called The Magus Conspiracy that's coming out. A Black Flag webtoon that is coming out. Then they got into the last thing that, remember when we thought that Codename Infinity was actually Mirage? Infinity is not Mirage.
Yeah, Infinity was always Infinity.
Right. Infinity, for some reason I thought that Infinity was Mirage. When they leaked Mirage, it was like, that's what the Codename Infinity is. No, that's not what Codename Infinity is. Codename Infinity is not Codename Infinity. It is Infinity. Well, actually, it is Codename Infinity. It is apparently going to be a hub for Assassin's Creed. It is an entry point into not only at the Assassin's Creeds of the past, but of future Assassin's Creeds. In other words, this seems like an Assassin's Creed, which would be the first of this kind, an Assassin's Creed streaming subscription service. Not streaming, but a subscription service.
I didn't
where
think of
you pay for
service.
a pass in order to get into access to this hub that gives you all the access to all the Assassin's Creed instead of having to buy them one at a time.
I was assuming it would be like the hub is free, but then depending on where you go, you have to buy the content to get
Maybe. I don't know. It felt to me like it might very well be a subscription service. The way they described it is you will have your very own Animus. It is a hub to unite experiences and players in meaningful ways.
And I'm so curious to see how they do that. Like, how do they put in all these various games?
Yeah. Yep. So
no
here's
idea.
your timeline, the way that they lined it out. 2022, we're going to have the last chapter of Ivor's story in Valhalla. 2023, we are going to get Basim's story in Mirage. And then they literally called this On the Horizon. Assassin's Creed Codename Red, which is Japan. Assassin's Creed Codename Hexa, which is Hex is also a witch thing. Codename Hexa, or maybe it's Hexy, is after that. Assassin's Creed Infinity Platform, Codename Jade, which is the one mobile game in China. And then the live action series on Netflix. And that is past 2023 right now. So it's looking like that's 2024 and beyond. Although they didn't say that. They just said on the horizon. So it could be that they become into 2023. Some of those come into 2023 as well. So yeah. It is going to be an Assassin's Creed world. This was about the biggest dump of information I've ever seen on any title. When you think about the breadth of what they talked about, the hub, the tchotchkes, the games, the mobile games, the webtoon, all the different media types, the television show, the game on Netflix, the streaming game. It was an absolute dump of information, and it makes you appreciate that you're going to have a lot of assassins. They're really pumping. They're really pumping on their 15th year the history of this game.
Makes me wish I liked it more.
The way that they're describing Mirage you may like it more after Mirage.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to see more than a CG trailer is because I wanted to see if it was a return to form.
They keep promising
instead of
it
them
is.
just they can say that a lot, but is it actually?
Yeah.
Because also what I really loved about Assassin's Creed is that it was highly political in a way that today would be fucking radical.
Yeah.
Like highly radical. And I thought that was so cool. The way that one game basically said, Citizens United, the Supreme Court case that said you could give unlimited money to corporations could give unlimited money to elections.
Mm-hmm.
That was decided because there's a bunch of Templars on the court, and they wanted to give power to their Templar company, Abstergo, and that's why it was decided that way. The way that it weaved modern, not just historical context into its conspiracy, but took modern politics and weaved like a conspiracy around it. That was interesting. That was cool.
And if that happened now, holy shit. I mean, if Ubisoft got flack for Far Cry, what was the one with the one set in Montana with the
5?
Was that 5?
I think that was 5.
Yeah. With the fundamentalist Christian cult, and that got hell because people were like, what's what's wrong with fundamentalist Christian cults? We're being demonized and blah, 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 and you're against God. And if that's going to catch flack, you can imagine what if something like weaving in anything that's going on in politics right now into any game.
Yeah. Even though modern politics would be absolutely fucking perfect.
Perfect. Oh my God,
perfect.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Like when I look at those old games and like their frame story, it's like it's so perfect. But instead they've gone in this cowardly direction of, I don't know, everyone's a Norse god.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, other stuff. They did announce in the remaining 20 minutes of the presentation other stuff that's going on. All right, so I'm going to try and go through this real quick. Otherwise, we're going to be here for 45 minutes talking about it. New Trackmania was announced. They did do some Skull and Bones. It obviously took second showing to Assassin's Creed. Yeah, they got
I'm
they
hopeful.
Talked about people are in the insider program that are playtesting it right now. They had some interviews with them. Of course, they all said they loved it, but then again, they aren't going to put anybody up there that says they don't like it.
Yeah.
The build, they outlined more details about building your ships and about building your pirate cove. Talking about the PvP, we do know now that it is cross-play at launch, no matter what platform. And of course, we know that it's coming out. We knew that it was coming out November 8th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when that happens, you and I are absolutely going to be playing. And anybody who's listening now who wants to be on the GameHounds, crew or whatever. Yes, we everybody who wants to play with us, abso-freaking-lutely, I want to play with you on this. The other thing that they announced, Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, coming out October 20th on Twitch.
That's going to be the best Ubisoft game of the year.
Probably. It probably will.
I'm very excited for that.
Not because I think that Rabbids games are great, just because that there are so many ways that all those other games can go wrong. But
the previous Mario and Rabbids game it was a genuinely great tactics game.
Yeah. So Ubisoft also revealed that the game's going to come with 3 pieces of DLC, including a new playable character of Rayman, who is coming now to Mario Rabbids. There's no release date or expansions. The release date is October 20th for the game. There is no release date for the expansions, though. New Riders Republic was announced. Brawlhalla, Simon Belmont and Alucard from the Castlevania series are going to be joining Brawlhalla as playable characters on October 19th. The Crew 2 was going to introduce new ice tracks as part of its 6th season, and
The Crew?
The Crew 2.
The Crew 2? They're still doing stuff for The Crew 2?
Yeah. They would do the 6th season. It's coming. It actually started today. Starts tomorrow on all platforms with some ice tracks. Division 2 is also still going. 2 more updates this year. Season 10 is going to start in a few days. There's going to be additional difficulty modes added and some quality of life changes. There's going to be new outfits and more vanity stuff later. And then they're going to have also Season 11 that's on tap. New Manhunter targets and new Manhunter modes are coming with that. More information about both of those are going to be later this year. Division Year 5 is already in the works. Rainbow Six Mobile. They did a closed alpha earlier this year. It's now in pre-beta. It is free to play, read, tons of microtransactions, so many microtransactions that it's going to make Blizzard blush. It's now entering beta. It's on Monday, September 12th, so tomorrow. Android users can still register for this beta on Google Play. The iOS version is not available, so iPhone users, sorry, you're wah. Upcoming tests for that, however, are going to be later. Bank, border, and clubhouse maps from Division Games are going to be included in this beta. In the beta is going to be available in the USA, Brazil, Canada, Philippines, Mexico, Singapore, and India only on Monday. They announced Just Dance 2023, and I know that this was like the moment you were waiting for. It's going to launch on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch on November 22nd. The game is going to arrive later on Stadia. No date for that was provided. Division 2 Heartland. This is going to be set in a small town of Silver Creek in Middle America. They had a first look for it. It's going to be a free-to-play survival action shooter.
Another free-to-play.
Microtransactions that they're in testing right now. They talked about Rocksmith Plus, more additional stuff in Rocksmith. They talked about Anno 1800, more stuff with that. Division Resurgence, mobile game, read microtransactions. It's going to be open world multiplayer mobile game. It's going to be in the dark zone. It's in alpha right now. Closed beta is going to happen this fall. It looks like it's a kind of get in, get stuff, get out. Like essentially what the dark zone is, but it's going to be mobile multiplayer. So For Honor, they mentioned, but didn't say anything about it. And then, of course, the last thing that was on my list was this Ubisoft Plus service. Streaming all Assassin's Creed games, all Far Cry games, all Anno games, all Game Night games. It is free right now until October 10th. Skull and Bones is going to be available on that system day one. And it is open for PC, laptop, and mobile devices only. So if you want to use that, you can go to Ubisoft, I'm assuming Ubisoft.com, and you will find the Ubisoft Plus free month offer right now. Okay. I don't know what else to say. That's so much. There's just no way to talk about it. But it's a lot. It's a lot.
Although, you know what? For as much as they announced, there was one thing they didn't talk about.
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yep.
I know.
That game is gone. Dead.
It's not dead. It's not dead yet.
It's so dead.
It's not dead.
It's totally dead.
It's not dead. It's just it's in a very deep coma.
It's a zombie.
It's got some brain activity. Very little basal brain activity.
They've got it locked up in a cell in a basement and are just like feeding it the remnants of failed other projects.
Yeah, pretty much. That is probably not far from the truth. So yeah, they did not mention it. I'm gonna keep opening every one of these fucking forwards. I'm just gonna keep trying to get it. All right, so here is the link for pre-registering for the Rainbow Six closed beta selection on Google Play if you have a Google device. And AC Ray says there are developers working on the sequel that worked on the original. Are there any developers working? I would imagine people that worked on the original have either passed away or gone into retirement.
Yeah.
It was so long ago. I doubt it. So that's my first and not my only item, but that is my first item. Your next item.
Okay, well, let's stick with the Ubisoft news. Tencent has invested heavily into Ubisoft. They've invested $300 million, but they didn't just buy $300 million worth of Ubisoft shares. Instead, what they did is they bought a 49.9% stake in Guillemot Brothers Limited, which is the investment vehicle that Ubisoft uses to control, that Ubisoft's founders use to control Ubisoft.
Right. That Ubisoft's founders, and they control something like 60% or 70% of the stocks.
Yeah. Well,
so that is the entity that holds the stocks. And
so what's interesting is that
Tencent bought how much of that?
49.9. But they also own stock of Ubisoft. So you could argue technically they own more of Ubisoft than the Guillemot family.
Yeah, but they can't determine the Guillemot family.
Yeah,
Guillemot
Guillemot
family, they don't have the controlling interest. So the Guillemot family can override them, which is why it's 49.9%.
Yes, the Guillemot family has, but more importantly, they have like the voting shares.
They have the voting shares.
Guillemot family has control. Even if Tencent might own more, Guillemot family is still in control.
They're getting the money,
which they wanted to express because Ubisoft CEO Yves was like, "This isn't a takeover." He was very, very adamant about that.
Yeah. So, I didn't know about that. But I do know about something else about Tencent. Interestingly enough, this was going to be one of my later stories. But since you mentioned Tencent, let's talk about Tencent. Head of Amazon Games this week. He's provided some new insight as to what happened with the Lord of the Rings MMO that Amazon was working on and abandoned, despite the fact that they spent years working on it. So that was announced in April of last year. It was supposed to be a free-to-play for console and PCs. And they've been co-developing it with Athlon Games, which is a U.S. subsidiary of a Hong Kong-based company named Leiyu Technologies. In April, after a very long time working on it, they axed the whole project. So, at the time, it was announced that according to a Bloomberg article, the reason why Amazon killed the title, despite the investment of time and money, was because Tencent had acquired Leiyu in December of 2020. In April of 2021, they pulled the plug on the game. And it was speculated that was the reason. So speaking in a new GameSpot interview, Amazon Games President Christoph Hartmann revealed that the Lord of the Rings license holder, Middle-earth Enterprises, chose to exercise a clause in its contract to allow it to terminate its rights deal should one of its partners get acquired. So it was the license holder that pulled the plug on the deal. Because
not Amazon.
Not Amazon. So after this happened, according to Hartman, he said things got, quote unquote, very complicated. And Amazon actually had tried to explore ways to continue working on the project with Tencent. But they ended up walking. So it kind of sort of was Amazon in that they tried to work with Tencent and find some kind of a middle ground so that they could not essentially trash the whole project that they'd worked on. But eventually they ended up walking away because they couldn't make any headway in negotiations with Tencent. And his quote is, "The question was, sure, maybe could have worked together with Tencent to do something, but I think we're too big as companies to really turn into partners doing a property together where they own the license and we develop the game." So we decided it's better not to work together there. And then we tried to figure something out with both ends, but I think that just dragged on too long. So they lost the licensing because of the acquisition by Tencent. And then subsequently try to work something out. They couldn't make any headway with Tencent and had to walk away.
What's interesting is that was the license holder for Lord of the Rings, which is now in the hands of Embracer Group.
Why do I get the feeling that there's gonna be a war between Embracer and Tencent?
You mean like King Kong vs. Godzilla?
Yes, exactly like King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's gonna be, and honestly, gaming are all like the tanks lining the streets shooting pointlessly at Godzilla. We're just gonna be the tanks on the streets, but it's going to be a fight between Tencent and Godzilla, and nobody's gonna win.
Whoever wins we lose.
I know. That's where it's heading. So, AC Ray said at least Amazon got to spend tons on the Rings of Power. True. Have you watched that?
I've not.
I haven't either.
I watched Game of Thrones, The House of the Dragon.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Thoughts?
pretty good.
Oh,
Pretty
okay.
good. I like it. I like that it feels like a smaller scale Game of Thrones. Kind of a return to the early seasons where it's
Before it
not
got silly.
not about saving the whole world. It's just about
Yeah.
yo, I want to be king. These other people want to be king. This other guy wants to be king, and they're all being petty assholes about it, and it's fascinating.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's good. I recommend it.
I just, by the way, totally not related to anything, but we were talking about game shows that we were watching. I just binge watched in 2 nights. Yeah, 2 nights. The new Umbrella Academy.
Oh, I can't get into Umbrella Academy.
It starts off really pretty weak, but by the end, it's really, really good. It's really good.
Do you have HBO Max?
I do not.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't
I
know.
guess-
It's been a long time since I've gone onto HBO.
I guess that's
I
where you
think
would
I
watch
do through
Game of
Comcast,
Thrones.
through Xfinity.
Check out Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol.
Yes, I feel like Doom Patrol does what Umbrella Academy wants to do better than Umbrella Academy. The idea of a bunch of like super powered people that don't necessarily get along, but they kind of like bumble their way through self realization and self actualization while maybe saving the world. I feel like Doom Patrol does it so much better. The characters are so much more likable. Everyone in Umbrella Academy is just a piece of shit.
That is the thing about Umbrella Academy. There's only 2 people. Yeah, there's really only 2 members of the household who aren't complete assholes. But one of them is so very good. So good. So good.
Anyways, also, AC Wraith in the chat said about Rings of Power that he's been watching it, not hating it, but doesn't remember the specifics of the lore they're adapting.
Right, and he also says that House of Dragon felt less slow than the Rings of Power. So yeah, moving right along and going back to our actual show. Let's see. You brought an item. Okay, my turn to bring something. What am I going to bring to you? What would you like to know about? Since we already talked about one big, developers conference, and this is a little bit developers conference-erific this last week. We also got word. Well, Tokyo Game Show is coming up next week.
Okay.
So a lot of stuff is starting to come out early and dropping for the Japanese developers. And the expected Nintendo Direct will reportedly take place as reported. It would be next week. There's assumptions. In fact, it was on Giant Bomb. Giant Bomb's journalist Jeff Grubb, who suggested that it's probably going to be earlier than it usually is. But that I think they do it on Thursdays, but Tokyo Game Show starts Thursday, so they think that they're probably going to do that Nintendo Direct earlier. That it is rumored that as part of that is there's going to be news about Zelda and Metroid Prime. So that is happening next week. And of course, Tokyo Game Show, there's already talks about what's going to be discussed by Capcom and everybody else.
Zelda, I could believe because they've announced the Breath of the Wild 2. Metroid Prime, last I heard, it was like being rebooted. So
we'll find out. We'll find out next week.
I would take the bet on Zelda. I would not on Metroid Prime.
I'm going to take the bet on Metroid Prime as well.
I would not take it on Metroid.
You want to put some money on that?
Nah. Want to bet Steel Rising on it?
No. A Wind Waker and Metroid Prime Nintendo Direct is reportedly still coming next week. Yeah, there was, I guess, some talks that it might be delayed because of the death of Queen Elizabeth. By the way, anyone listening from the UK, my condolences for the loss of your queen. The queen is dead. Long live the king.
Why would the death of the queen impact the video game announcement?
I don't know. That was
In
the
Japan.
suggestion. That was a suggestion. I don't know. Why do you ask me questions about Nintendo? I don't even own one. So yeah, that's my item. Your item next, sir.
Well, you might remember a week or two ago, Phil Spencer was out here talking about Call of Duty being like, hey, we've talked to Sony and we want people to know that we have pledged to make Call of Duty cross-platform. It'll come out on PlayStation for several more years.
Right.
Well,
what were the phrase that they used? That they said that it was unprecedented. That like beyond what normally happens in the gaming industry, the kind of contract that they offered to allow Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation, even after the sale goes through.
So I want to read Jim Ryan's response because it is both like good insight into like this rivalry between them and like the actual difficulties of buying something as big as Call of Duty, but it's also just like, oh, these two people fucking hate each other. So Jim Ryan says, I hadn't intended to comment on what I understood to be a private business discussion. But I feel the
that's
need,
like a fuck it.
but I feel the need to set the record straight because Phil Spencer brought this into the public forum.
Wow, that is like talking mad shit by their standards. That is full on talking shit. All right, so then he said,
then the actual details are Microsoft has only offered for Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for 3 years after the current agreement between Activision and Sony ends. After almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation, the proposal was inadequate on many levels and failed to take into account the impact on our gamers. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest Call of Duty experience, and Microsoft's proposal undermines this principle.
yeah. So pretty much they're like, fuck no. But I will say this. He has to say that. And he has to say that publicly. Because the argument that Sony is making across everywhere they can is that PlayStation shouldn't have... are you hearing music?
Yeah.
Some fucking asshole in front of my house playing his goddamn...
Oh.
I want to yell. I want to be that neighbor right now. I was hoping that you weren't hearing it.
Anyways.
You keep talking. I am going to totally fucking be that neighbor right now. Excuse me.
Go for it. So anyways, yeah, I get what Edie's saying about how Jim Ryan has to say that because the argument Sony is making across all of these places about the Activision acquisition is that it would unfairly limit competition. And so while Phil Spencer's out here saying, no, it's cool. We made a deal with Sony. We made it already. That kind of forces Jim Ryan to come out and undermine that. Because like if he let it go, then it would kind of undercut the arguments they were making in various court cases. Like if Phil Spencer's claim that like, oh yeah, no, we made a deal with Sony to have things remain multi-platform for a while afterwards, if that was allowed to stand unchallenged, it would undermine a lot of the court argument.
Exactly. It is. So I believe, I don't want to say they're being disingenuous.
I don't think they're being disingenuous. But I do think that
They have to take this hardline stance of this can't be adequate. They could never say this is adequate because, like
Well-
you said, it undermines their argument for preventing the sale from going through.
Yeah, I also feel like they wouldn't have said anything if Phil Spencer hadn't have said anything. But the fact that Phil Spencer was out here being public about like, no, man, no, we're buddies. You know, we made this deal. We're cool. That really prompted Jim Ryan to be like, the fuck are you talking about? No, it's not.
Yeah, I think that that's what, and it's gamesmanship on both of their levels, on both sides. It's total gamesmanship. Would Sony be giving PlayStation a 3-year contract to put Call of Duty on their platform if they had a choice otherwise? Fuck no. But they gotta, because, you know, it's a good strategic move to disprove everything that Sony is saying. By the same token, now, and were they going to say something about it publicly? Fuck yes, they're going to say something about that publicly. You know they're going to say. Jim Ryan shouldn't be surprised at all. So, but he has to feign surprise. It's just, it's such kabuki theater right now.
No, it makes me wonder, like, how did those talks actually end?
That's actually a good question.
Because one of those people is misrepresenting like how it ended. Did it end with them being like, yes, let's have this deal? Or did it end with them being like, no, this is inadequate?
Mm-hmm.
If it ended the latter, then Phil Spencer coming out here being like, no, it's cool. Like he is flat out lying to people's faces of like, no, I know Sony rejected this deal, but I'm going to say that we offered
them
deal.
such a great deal.
Actually, you know what? That makes me want to go back and see if he said the word offered or if he actually used like, we made this deal.
Let's see, what did it say? I had it. Let's see. Did I write it? Microsoft promised you. No, I did not keep that quote. I'm sorry. No, but yeah, it's a drama. It's a little bit of a soap opera, but yes, there's a lot of clutching of pearls, and also a lot of just people just hating each other and trying to get one up on each other in the court of public opinion.
Uh-huh.
Did you find it yet?
Yeah, I might have.
It's not hard to find. It's just about everywhere. I'm sure AC Wraith will be able to provide you a banner of it.
Well, I'm trying to make sure it's the right quote.
And AC Wraith says that I could, the asshole outside, she said she could just ask him to stand under the chimney and enjoy the anticipation. Oh, if only. Yeah, I ran out there, by the way. Like, I ran out ready to shoot bear. I was locked and loaded, and they had driven off just as I had gotten off. I would have made a public scene because I've got zero fucks to give for anybody that does that on my neighborhood, because this is a very quiet neighborhood.
Okay, so now you can see, I think Phil Spencer was originally playing like fucking lawyer with these with his words. His original quote is, "In January, we provided a signed agreement to Sony to guarantee Call of Duty on PlayStation,
which with Sony didn't accept it,
with feature and content parity for at least several more years beyond the current Sony contract, an offer that goes well beyond typical gaming industry standards."
They offered.
He just said
it was not
offered.
accepted. Well,
no. So which I feel is genuine.
No, the question is, when did they say that they offered it?
In January.
Okay, so they would have known that Sony didn't accept it, because that's the only way that would be not a little bit kind of a disingenuous thing. Okay, yeah,
like,
I can see Jim Ryan being a little upset that Phil Spencer came out and said that.
I'm like, wait, we rejected your offer. You can't use that as a pro. We rejected it.
Oh man, to be a fly on the fucking wall when Jim Ryan opened up the paper to see that quote. Oh. So yeah. Thank you for the link, AC Wraith. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yeah.
this is very much grab your popcorn. This is not over by a long shot, and it's only going to get better. It just keeps. It's a gift that keeps on giving. It really, really is. All right. So my next item, Embracer Group. Let's talk since we mentioned Embracer Group earlier.
Okay.
News about Embracer Group. Crystal Dynamics. Crystal Dynamics is owned by Embracer Group. Embracer also just acquired for an unbelievable bargain price from Square Enix Tomb Raider, Legacy of Kain, and a bunch of other stuff, a bunch of other IPs. It was announced this week. Embracer's Crystal Dynamics is going to take control of both Tomb Raider and Legacy of Kain IPs, along with "quote unquote" several other game franchises, and that means that they've got the IPs in house. They're going to be doing something with it. And the official blog post read, quote, "As a result of this change, Crystal Dynamics or its affiliate is now the owner of these games and the controller of the gameplay and personal data related to them." So thinking remasters, remakes, maybe a new game. I think that they also said Deus Ex might be part of that. I'm not sure, but yeah. And that's happening. I can't imagine Crystal Dynamics being essentially owner of Tomb Raider and then not doing anything with it, much less Legacy of Kain. So expect something from both, and some title of both out of Crystal Dynamics in the future.
Yeah, eventually it'll take a while.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a while to make a game. It'll take at least 3 to 5 years, but something's coming. Something is definitely coming. And we now know that from this point on, Tomb Raider is going to be made by Crystal Dynamics, which I think is a good pairing.
Yeah, I liked their version of it best.
What else?
Okay. So there was a D23 happened, and that's like a Disney showcase. They announced a whole bunch of Marvel stuff, a whole bunch of Star Wars stuff.
That's right. They had that yesterday at 1:00. Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday.
Right
and
after
one of
Ubisoft.
the things they announced was a new Marvel game. I can hear myself coming through you.
My headphones turned up. Okay, now.
A new Marvel game from Amy Hennig, who was the creative director of the first 3 Uncharted games. And we don't know much about it. We don't have a name. They announced this game before it had a name. But we know that it will involve Captain America and Black Panther in World War II.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting pairing. It's an interesting setting. And I think I saw something from Amy Hennig where she said, like, if you know the type of games I make, you know what this is going to be. Which, considering I like the first 3 Uncharted games, I'm excited to see what this turns out to be.
I would not mind a Uncharted game starring Black Panther. Capcom. I mean,
yeah.
Captain, yeah.
You know what? If any Marvel hero other than Spider-Man is going to climb like Nathan Drake, it would be Black Panther.
Exactly. So I'm not opposed to that. Thoughts in the chat room? What do you think? I'm not quite sure how it would fit in with World War II, but it might be interesting. Like, are they going to take on Hitler?
Maybe. Captain America did punch Hitler.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, there's the cinematic trailer on it.
I mean, if anything, they'll probably fight Hydra and be like, "Oh, these are the people we're gonna fight the bad guys that even the Nazis don't like."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm really surprised, speaking of Nazis and World War II, I'm really surprised that Assassin's Creed hasn't gone there yet. I mean, I know they
Yeah.
like to work with ancient history, but there's another thing that fits into the whole Templars versus Assassins situation, like dovetails in. Absolutely dovetails in.
yeah. I think. You know what? In what was the Victorian England one? Syndicate? In Syndicate,
Yes.
I think there was a side thing you could go on that basically flashed forward to England during World War II,
Oh,
maybe World War
interesting.
One or World War II, and you played as a bit in that setting, and it was mainly just like an exposition dump for like the lore. But it did do a kind of like side rail into one of the world wars. So
Right.
they've touched upon it.
Huh. Well, I guess I see that happening. But I would really, I'm the whole, maybe not like the war and all the things that happened there, but the rise of Hitler as a chancellor in World War II very much could very easily played it before World War II, you know, in the late 1920s and early 30s. That would be kind of huge for that.
It would work really well, but that's way too political. We need
It
to.
is now. Remember when it was easy to make Nazis a enemy because nobody supported Nazis? Those were the days.
Yeah, let's go
Nazis
back
were
to
the equivalent of zombies.
yeah. Let's go back to when shooting Nazis was okay.
Yeah. Please, let's. So, do you have another item?
Yes. So Battlefield 2042, another update has been announced for it. This time, it's not any changes to the structure of the multiplayer, but DICE has said that they will be creating a quote narrative campaign. This is the first time in a while, actually, that there's been a campaign in a Battlefield game. Honestly, I don't know if it's necessary. I feel like I would prefer them to shore up the multiplayer because that's really what I want to play in Battlefield. When they announced that Battlefield 2042 was multiplayer only, I remember we were both okay with that. We both said like, yeah, I understand why you would do that. The multiplayer is like what we like best. It just was unfortunate that the multiplayer ended up sucking.
Right.
But I would kind of rather see them put their efforts towards fixing that than creating this narrative campaign that I might not even play.
Honestly, I haven't played a Battlefield campaign ever in its entirety.
Did you
Like,
play the Bad Company games?
No. Well, no. Yes, I played Bad Company 2 with you. That was
Oh,
my
but you
first
didn't play
FPS. And I bought the game used and I jumped in with you and Chris. That was my first FPS. So I never played the campaign there.
Those campaigns for Bad Company 2 are the only good campaigns in a Battlefield game.
Okay. Well, because I remember the next Battlefield I played was, what was it? What was after Bad Company 2? Did I play the next one?
I think that was
3?
Battlefield, 3 or 4.
I think it was 3. And I played Battlefield 3 and I started to play the campaign and it was like, and I just played multiplayer. I just went straight direct to multiplayer.
Yeah. The 4 campaign wasn't very good. The Hardline campaign, I feel like was good, cheesy, goofy fun. The 5 campaign, I don't even
5
think
was what, World War 1?
5 was World War II. I don't think it had a campaign.
1. Battlefield.
Battlefield 1 had a series of vignettes, and I think I played one
Right.
of them.
And I played one of them.
Yeah.
I played, I think, mostly through one of them. Then I just went and played the game.
Right? Yeah. So, I feel like this is a wrong direction.
This is, yeah. It's definitely a wrong direction. So I'm not crazy about that, but
Oh, wait. Let me amend that.
Yeah.
This is not a part of Battlefield 2042.
Oh,
This is just they've announced that they're making a new narrative campaign of Battlefield. So basically, they announced a Battlefield single player game.
oh. Well, that's a different. That is an entirely different thing.
I would still rather DICE put their efforts toward fixing 2042.
Yeah. Well, they're at this point they're trying to do anything they can to save. Oh my gosh. Think about what's going on in DICE. Like, for the first time in a really, really long time, Call of Duty fucks up on a massive scale. And it's like, yes, finally, we can beat them. And then they release 2042.
Yeah.
It's like, we will never have this opportunity to get ahead on them again like this. Must be so frustrating for them. But they made a shitty game. They really, really miscalculated. It's like they forgot what fun was. All right, my next item is, let's see, you talked about that. I talked about that. We're talking about Call of Duty. Call of Duty. Yeah, we were talking to Call of Duty. Here is some new Call of Duty information. There we go. Activision has officially announced Call of Duty Warzone Mobile. Because if you thought that Assassin's Creed was going to be full of microtransactions, remember, this is the parent company of Blizzard, and they know exactly what Diablo Immortal is making, and it sounds fucking awful. So here it is, the message accompanying the mobile teaser video. The publisher said it plans to unveil this title next week, so we will find out more information about it. It is at a event on September 15th, which is what? Monday, Tuesday is the 13th, Thursday. So next Thursday. It's going to be called Call of Duty Next. They're going to have details on Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 and also Warzone Mobile. Right now, that game is in invite-only closed alpha. It was put there, it started that in May. And then, of course, shortly afterwards, the Warzone mobile gameplay videos began leaking and starting to reveal details about a Battle Royale mode that uses the Verdansk map that was originally used in Warzone. So Activision hasn't confirmed the launch and so we knew about it, but they've officially made the announcement now. And they made the announcement that they're going to even have more details and full stuff next Thursday. Activision has not yet confirmed the timing of this game, but there are claims that it is going to be released in 2022. There is not much left of the year. So it may very well be that the announcement on Thursday is the announcement that the game is open. Although I think it would be early. It would have to go to beta. Maybe it's going to go to beta. They'll announce the beta. That's what I'm thinking. But anyway, the game sounds like microtransaction hell. It just does. Every time I hear free to play mobile, I know that it's microtransaction hell. It's just kind of the
not always. Not always.
That's true. You played a mobile game that had microtransactions that was not horrible to play without buying stuff.
Yeah, the Octopath Traveler.
Yeah.
Octopath Traveler, really good.
Yeah.
Doesn't beat you over the head.
Is that
with
the one where you have to buy the rubies and the rubies were extortionately expensive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were really expensive, but you know what? You don't have to buy them.
Yeah. That's the way
Like
microtransactions should be.
I've earned a bunch, enough to participate in multiple like events without having to put money in. Like, yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. Dataman Demand says shutting the gate after the horse has bolted.
Oh yeah, about Battlefield.
Battlefield. Yeah. Yeah. That's a very good way of putting it. Exactement, as they might say.
Wait, we know how to fix this. Single player content. It's like, wait, we specifically didn't do that.
It's like they have a wall full of like 8x5 cards with like, it says single player, multiplayer, campaign mode, free to play. And they're just taking darts and just like, okay, that's what's going to fix it. They're just randomly picking things that it's like, try anything. We need a hit. Rather than actually focusing on quality. It seems like DICE has lost its ability to know what's good.
Yeah, well, like 2042 tried to be different things. It tried to be a hero shooter in the vein of Overwatch and Valorant. But it also tried to be Battlefield, and it tried to combine these different like shooter philosophies in a way that just didn't work. And combine that, like a notion that was kind of taking apples and oranges and trying to squish them together into a single fruit.
Right.
But then the execution of everything around it, like level design, kind of sucked. Some of the roles of the heroes in their hero shooter kind of sucked. And like they just kind of, I don't want to say they dropped the ball, because from what I understand, that game was like, it came in real hot and it came in real unfinished. So it wasn't actually representative of what they wanted to do and be.
And they were also hampered by the fact that there was a pandemic in the final stages of development.
Yeah, that too. So it was kind of a perfect storm of everything going wrong. I know they can make really good games. I still really, really love Battlefield 5.
Yeah. I still really love Battlefield 1. I really, really liked Battlefield 1. And it ended up that the year that I was playing that, when that came out, I went to Poland and I went and saw some of the places where I was playing in Battlefield 1 and realizing that these are real, actual battlefields. These are wars. This city was destroyed. I ran through the ashes of this city. And it just was kind of neat putting the real life places into that experience. But on top of that, I absolutely loved so much about that game. That was where they introduced the long campaigns where you would play like 3 different levels. I forget what that's called, because it's been a while since I played a Battlefield game. That's when they first introduced the long form, I want to say story, but it was a long form story of battles, where you had the first stage and then the second stage and then the third stage, and then you had to like who was going to win. And
like depending on who won the first stage, they would get a bonus on the second stage.
Second stage. Yeah. I just thought that it was awesome.
Yeah, that was also the game that had the tide changing vehicles, the armored train and the blimp that came in.
Yeah.
And then blowing those up was always real satisfying.
Yeah, I forgot about those. Oh, the train was so much fun.
That train
was fun.
But then blowing up a blimp was always so cool because you just watch it. Yeah.
Yep.
When those games,
and you could be on the top of a blimp. You could, if you parachuted off of a plane, you could land on the blimp and be running around the top of the blimp. So much fun. So much fun. And everything since then for me has been just like, that was definitely the high point for me. All right, well, moving right along. Let's see. I brought up you got something?
Yeah. Twitch is making some more changes, which generally speaking, when they
And you
do,
have this.
no
I
one likes
do
them.
not know what this is, so please.
So Twitch is removing host mode. What that means is if someone goes to the GameHounds channel and we're not actively streaming, we can set it up that we show someone else's stream.
Right. We have it
Right?
set up like that. If Chaos goes online when we're offline, it will stream to him from him to ours.
Yeah, that's host mode, where
Okay.
we are hosting someone else's channel.
They're getting
They're-
rid of that?
They're getting rid of it. No one complained about it, but Twitch decided that host mode doesn't engage users in the way that Twitch wants its content creators to engage with their users. Like Twitch wants you to be live. Twitch, that
Yes.
is their obsession. They
Yep.
want live streams. They honestly couldn't give a shit about archive.
Yeah.
Like
That's why
moment-
we archive everything on YouTube.
yeah, that's what YouTube is benefited from. And I think there's even a video of a YouTuber, the Spiffing Brit, a while ago talking about this, about how he actually thinks YouTube is a better long-term platform because it allows people to monetize their archive videos, which allows them to like make money on archive videos. Whereas on Twitch, you can only make money from live streams. But what that means is Twitch wants you to be live. So if you're hosting someone else's live channel, they don't want that. They want you to be live all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as much as I am trying to grow us on Twitch, and I recognize growing us on Twitch is ideal, I also recognize that what Twitch wants you to be as a streamer is someone who works themselves to death.
Twitch wants you to burn out.
Twitch wants you to burn out. They want you to keep hitting the water dispenser that has the drugs in it until you die. They want you to just go, and it's a what do they call that in Asia with clothes? Sweatshop. Twitch is a digital sweatshop. So, yeah, I mean, here I am trying to please go to Twitch because I want to hit that milestone, and I sort of do. But at the same time, I also recognize that Twitch is really, if you think about it, they are not creating anything that people can sustain long term, and that is their business model. They want people to go insane and lose their minds, and they have, and commit suicide, and they have.
Yeah.
But that's, more money for them.
That man says it's really helpful for new streamers because over the years he never would have found some people without hosting them.
Right.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
discoverability tool.
Yeah. Yep.
And Twitch already has issues with discoverability, and so this is taking an issue and making it worse.
Right. And yeah, the only way that you can be discovered without that hosting mode is by raids. And that means that it puts an awful lot of power into the hands of the Twitchers who already have huge audiences.
Yeah.
It also, really, really does, because without them, no one finds you.
It also requires them to end while you are doing a stream, right? Like there's a very specific time frame that you can institute a raid.
Right. Yeah, you can only institute without that. Yeah, you can only institute a raid if somebody's going on as somebody live while you're ending your stream.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, look, I enjoy Twitch. I watch a lot of it, but I think that company and its policies have a lot to work through.
Yeah, it really, really does. Really, really does. So I'm not saying that YouTube is all that fantastic, awesome place to be, but it's a different kind of awful. They're both awful, just, different flavors of it. AC Ray says, I imagine raids are fine because they send people to hosted channels. It's showing another channel's content on your own that's being removed. Yes, no, raids apps are fine. In fact, I think that they probably want to encourage raids. What they don't want is people to be not live on their own channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my next item is, do I have much other than, so you talked about Embracer. Yeah, I might as well do this one because it's sad. It's really sad. And I don't want to end on this sad note. If you haven't heard, Kotaku's Mike Fahey, I think he was a senior editor at Kotaku. He started out as just a reporter, worked his way up to senior editor. He passed away this week at age 49.
Yeah, I know he has been struggling with a lot of health problems over the past several years.
Yeah. It started in 2018 when he experienced an aortic dissection, which if you're not familiar with that, it is the tube into aorta is into your heart. That's the vena cava. Yeah, the aorta is the tube out of your heart, just split open. That's an aortic dissection. Essentially, it just goes and opens up on its own. And that's, you die from that very quickly. He did not die. However, it did leave him partially paralyzed. So he was in a wheelchair and struggling with his health because of that, and had lots of ongoing health issues from that. And finally, those ongoing health issues overtook him. And we lost a really, really good games journalist. And he was a games journalist for 16 years. That means, if you think about it, Mike Fahey started writing in video games professionally. He started writing, I think, at Kotaku the year before Assassin's Creed 1 came out. That's how long he's been in this game. It's a really fucking long time. And he covered it all, and he was, as his coworkers called him, he was the soul of the newsroom there. So our deepest condolences to his wife and his kids, and also to the Kotaku staff. We're so sorry. I met Mike a few times in passing at various conferences, GDC, E3. I remember sitting and talking with him out in the smoking area, which is, if you don't know, at E3, the smoking area. If you don't smoke, you should take off smoking for E3, because that's where all the smoking developers go. And what do smokers do when they're sitting in the smoking area? They talk, because they're off the clock. And so, yeah, I think I remember meeting Mike Fahey in the E3 smoking area, hanging out with, across the way was Peter Molyneux and, a couple of other people. And we're like, fuck, we need to hang out here. But yes, Mike Fahey, so sorry. The times that I met him and crossed his path, he was a lovely human being. A giant of a human being, but a lovely human being. And I'm so sorry for Kotaku that they lost him.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yep. So, yeah, I didn't want to end the show on that, but I also didn't want to not mention it on the show. So next item, please.
Okay. In other news, I'm going to share a window because you cannot accurately describe this story.
All right.
So, the Microsoft UI the Xbox UI is getting a bit of a
makeover.
Update. Basically, it looks a lot of the same, except that the way it is now, they have a the most recent thing you did is on the left, and it's in kind of a big square, and then the second, third, fourth most recent apps you opened are in smaller squares going off to the right. So you got big square on the left, small squares on the right, and then below that you have like my games and apps. You've got some ads. You've got other things. The way they're changing it is to basically shrink that big square.
Right.
That's kind of it. Shrink that big square, and then on the bottom row, instead of just having a link to My Games and Apps and then a bunch of ads, you have a link to My Games and Apps, Microsoft Store, then a bunch of ads.
Yeah, this new UI redesign is catching a lot of heat from people. From the people, because they've already kind of released it out for beta testing to some people, and not getting a lot of really good reception. It is, they say, the size of the first square was not your problem. The problem is that it is all the freaking ads. All the waste. I mean, I'm sure Xbox doesn't think of it as wasted real estate, but for users, it's waste fucking real estate, because nobody sees those ads and goes, oh, I think I'll click on that and go to that ad. Nobody does that. I bet you their click-through rate is almost zero, is functionally zero. It is a bad idea, other than if maybe they sell those ad spaces to people.
Well, it looks like some of the ads are probably what's on Game Pass, right? In the example, they have a trending Forza Horizon 5. So that might be hey, a lot of people are playing this game on Game Pass. You should check it out. Mm-hmm. So it's an ad for a Microsoft thing, which is that better or worse than an ad for Assassin's Creed Valhalla or Dragon Age Inquisition or NBA 2K21?
Yeah, it's just, and I'm not the only one, is that the ads, well, when they started putting ads on in these UIs, it was bad, but now it's gotten to the point where it actually eats up so much of the space that is functional for us as users that it is now hurting the UI experience. Whereas before it was part of the UI experience, now it is actually making the UI experience demonstrably worse.
So what I'll say, what bugs me about their current UI, and I don't think this is going to fix it, even though the pictures inadvertently highlight what I don't like about the UI. Mm-hmm. You see, the new one has all games. The top one, the old one, the current one, has a game, settings, Ubisoft Connect.
Whatever
Game
you were
Pass,
in last. It was the
Store.
order of what you opened last.
But it's just apps. Mm-hmm. So if I open the settings app, that goes. If I open Game Pass, that gets put on there. I feel like those things are really cluttering up the space. I like the way it is on PlayStation, where only the video games are in the top row. Mm-hmm. Only the recent games you downloaded or played are in that top row. I can go to settings, switch a game, go to settings, switch a game, go to games, settings, switch a game. And in the PlayStation, only the games will be in that row. Mm-hmm. I vastly prefer that.
Okay. Well, I mean, do we know that that's the case, that it's only going to be games in the top row?
I don't know. Like I've read through this, and they didn't mention anything about that specifically, mm-hmm. but I just thought it was funny that that's something that's kind of inadvertently highlighted in the difference between these two pictures.
Mm-hmm. AC Wraith puts up a very good point. I never understand the we're advertising this stuff to you because it's popular angle. If it's popular, it doesn't need advertising. Show me the niche stuff. He's got a point. You know what did not need to be on the front page of anything? Fucking Elden Ring. There's not a goddamn person on this planet who didn't know that Elden Ring came out. Nobody needed they know. Like he said, find me the stuff that I wouldn't find front and center on the Microsoft Store as soon as I went into it.
Yeah.
Find me something that isn't literally talked about in every single podcast, every single channel, that there aren't 50 bajillion people already playing.
And you know what? I don't mind that whole idea of, hey, it's popular, so we're going to advertise it to you on the storefront. Mm-hmm. Like if I go into the storefront
That's
app,
a whole different thing. Put ads all over that because it's a store. You're supposed to have ads in a store.
But on the base UI.
Yeah.
Which, okay, again, the PlayStation 5 UI has a god-awful number of issues. But the base, like, here's the home screen. Here's a list of your games. It's very clean. Mm-hmm. You know, you've got most recently played games, most recently downloaded, going off to the right. And then if you highlight one, below it, it opens up a whole bunch of like, hey, here's what's popular. Check out a clip, check out news, blah, 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 blah. But you can just hit right on the D-pad and select the next game.
Here's what's really funny. When the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 2 came out. Yeah, that's about the right time. PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. When they were out together, it was very much an argument of who had the better UI. And Microsoft, with the blades, absolutely so much better. And then with the Nixie, the new player experience or whatever we called it, Nipsey, it was even an improvement. I remember back then going onto the PlayStation 3 and thinking to myself, this UI is fucking impossible.
I don't like the blades. I think the blades weren't good, but the NXE, the new Xbox experience, was beautiful.
Was beautiful. Absolutely.
It was so great because, and I've said this before, you could navigate everything using just the D-pad.
Yep.
You just like go up, down, then left, right.
Yep. And when it was, I was A-Bing that, there was like no question that the PlayStation 5 was just fucking unusable by comparison. PlayStation 3. PlayStation hasn't really functionally made a huge physical difference to the way that it's been designed. Its UI is designed.
All they've done is put their settings.
Right.
PlayStation has just put its settings behind like 18 more clicks.
Yes, exactly, which is actually made it much worse. With PlayStation, it has changed its design.
With
Xbox has changed its design massively. And they've managed to change their design from being head and shoulders well above anything that PlayStation put out to so far below what PlayStation does, or what PlayStation does, that you're actually saying, I really like PlayStation's UI. Like, we forget that there was anything better than PlayStation's UI. And it was. PlayStation's UI used to be the bottom of the barrel. And now, doing almost exactly the same thing, they're so much better than Xbox. That's how bad Xbox has fucked up its UI. It really should just go back. Go back to the up, down, left, right. Go back. Yeah. One line. Put all the ads you want in that one line. That's fine. One fucking line.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, the problem is they went to the tile format, which was when Windows 8 came out. And
and Windows 8 tile format was awful for Windows 8. Mm-hmm. It was so bad, they had to re-release a new Windows really quickly because nobody could use it.
And they want to, like, we're going to unify the Xbox UI.
It's going to be Xbox One.
Mm-hmm. And no one liked it.
Nobody liked it for gamers. Nobody liked it for Windows users. It was a bad idea.
Yeah. And so they've been honing the tile format for the past several years, but it's still based on that tile format.
And
You can see
they cannot let the tiles go. Let
Like-
the tiles go.
like you can see on the Xbox UI right now, it does kind of have that NXE structure where you've got like menu, and if you scroll down enough, it goes to like the next one. If you scroll down enough, it goes to the next category. So you've got like homepage.
They've got
Game
tiles
Pass,
within
storefront.
within the hierarchy, within
Yeah,
the up down hierarchy.
But as you go up and down to get to those hierarchies, when you go right, then you kind of enter into a page where it's like, and there's a whole bunch of different tiles there. The beauty of the NXT is that was just, like you said, straight lines. That's it. And so there wasn't a whole lot of, navigating diagonally up, down, left, right, do. It was just up, down, then left, right. And
Right.
it was very simple.
Yep. I would love to have the time to go back into GameHounds history and listen to me talking about how shitty the PlayStation interface was, UI interface, how awful it was. And everything that we're saying that we hate about PlayStation 5 interface that we love about PlayStation 5 interface, that I prefer about PlayStation 5's interface, is exactly what I was saying. I was hated about it years ago. And it's not because it got better. It's because PlayStation's got so bad. Agreed. Someone in Redmond has a huge hard-on for tiles. And that person needs to retire. That person needs to go away. Because as the longer they stick with this tile, the stuff, the longer the UI is going to suck. Bottom line. That person should have lost their job instead of just changing their mind and just putting tiles in different places now. Anyway, Dataman says,
Yes.
PS3 camp for me, love the PS4 for ease of use. PS5's ease of use by comparison to the Xbox Series X is head and shoulders above.
Yeah, well, the PS5 ease of use for changing settings compared to PS4, bit of a pain.
Yeah.
The fact that
If you
sound,
hold the button versus if you tap the button, I hate
Well,
those kind of things. Conditional
also-
use.
also there are menus for sound that if you go to settings and then sound, there it's missing options. You have to go to your profile, then
Yes.
audio, and then you find different options. And it's
Right.
why?
They've put stuff
Why are they in different
all
places?
over in different places when it literally should be all in one place. You can have other places you can access it, but if it changes the sound, it should be on the sound settings page. Period. That's where it all needs to be, even if it's duplicative.
Yeah. Although, two places to credit, I will say, when we streamed The Forgotten City and you did the share play with me so that I could watch what you were doing and then broadcast at the same time, that actually worked really well.
It was pretty seamless.
I was shocked at how easily it worked.
Yeah.
So-
They get a lot of stuff right. They certainly do. All right, so moving right along, my next item, I think I only have one. Do I have one? Here's kind of a weird one that I kind of found, and I'm not really quite sure what it means. And
Okay.
it was only in one place.
I don't
but-
have any more.
Yeah, okay, so Square Enix apparently filed a trademark for a new engine called the Radic engine. They filed it on September 1st in Japan. Now, this is Square Enix, which means someone is insane. Whoever is doing it is just not right in the head, because everything Square Enix does is just seems to be working on a different logic level than the rest of the world.
Hey,
but they
if you like RPGs, they are top of the game.
Yeah, true. If you like the RPGs, they are the kind of the best going at the moment. But they filed a trademark for the Radic engine on September 1st, and that was made public this week. Square Enix is really the only has one publicly known and internal engine, which is called the Luminous engine, that was developed for Luminous Productions, and that's the one that is going to power Forspoken. But for everything else, they pretty much use other people's engines like Unreal and Unity. So I don't know if this is their own full-fledged engine that is going to replace Unreal or Unity, or if it's an engine for some part that will work, that will integrate into, like, some smaller part, some smaller engine that is part of that, but the overall game is being done in Unreal. Don't know. But they did file for an engine trademark, so they're working on something. And I could, as insane as Square Enix seems to be and unclear on a direction, because remember, I mean, they honestly don't know what they're doing. But they could be deciding that they want to go head to head for an engine, an actual engine that will appeal to the Japanese developers for all the JRPGs and all the Japanese games. Because in Japan, they really do prefer to use Japanese products of all kinds.
I mean, I could see them just wanting to make their own engine so that they don't have to use someone else's. Just keep it in-house. Like, that makes sense. What's the vertical integration? Mm-hmm. That makes sense. That doesn't seem like
it's it
far-fetched to me.
That's a really big thing to do, though. That is a huge ask.
Other people have done that.
Yeah, with anywhere from good to bad results.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's not unusual. I would be surprised if Square Enix is getting into the engine licensing game.
Yeah, but then again, Square Enix is... Well, they're definitely pulling back and wanting to be Japan-centric.
Yeah, they're focusing on what they do best.
Yeah, true.
There are like a couple Square Enix games coming out this year that I'm genuinely excited for.
Which ones?
Tactics Ogre Reborn, and I forget the other one. It's another Tactics game. Mm. Because, hey, guess what? They really do that shit real good.
They do really good at tactics.
All
right.
Look, it was good that they sold off the Western studios because they didn't know what to do with them. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they've consolidated into what they do best.
They sold it for so cheap. That's the thing that doesn't make any sense.
Because they didn't know what to do. They just wanted rid of them.
They just wanted rid of them. But who doesn't like money? Who doesn't like money?
If you're bad at managing a studio and you don't make money, then you just want to get rid of that studio.
Maybe it just seems like a strange thing to be, putting on a fire sale. Like, just take it away. Just like they held a garage sale for all intents and purposes. Like, it's junk. We don't need it. Just sell it for $1.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the only other kind of weird thing that I came across that stuck out as like, that might be something, might be nothing.
Okay.
I don't think I have anything else. Let's see. I talked about that. Yeah, that's all I got. So we tend to do some gaming at night. Do you want to do something tonight? On a Sunday night after the show? Oh, my ears are itching. Why am I so itchy all of a sudden? My back started itching. Now my ears are itching. No, I'm not allergic to anything.
It's all the cat hair. I'm sorry. It's coming through.
You want to play something tonight?
Maybe. I'll have to see. I don't know what our plans for dinner are.
Okay.
Could
we start in on not Tomb Raider.
Oh, Heavy Rain.
Heavy
Okay.
Rain.
What we should decide, what we should figure out is who's going to play it. Because it is a single player game. Right? It's not multiplayer.
Yeah.
I know that I've downloaded like the PlayStation 5 pack. So I know I have access to it. I can download it on my machine.
Okay. Yes, let's do that. You play it.
Okay.
And I will stream it.
And what I also thought, in theory, I should be able to give you control of the game at certain points, right?
I think so.
With remote play?
I think you can do that.
Okay.
We'll
that
try
would be
to do
cool. Yeah, we'll try to test it out.
All right. So you'll play, you'll stream, and I will watch. We'll essentially reverse what we did when we did the Forgotten City.
Okay. And if I can get you to, if I can give control to you, then we can switch off, right? I'll take one character, you take another character.
Fuck me. Just do not make me look for that kid. Do not make me look for Jason.
I'm going to set it up. I'm going to set it up so that you get that scene.
No, I don't want that scene. I won't play that scene. I refuse. I will walk away. That was the scene that made me hate that game.
Okay. You don't have to play it.
I need to have third person perspective. If we're going to give this an honest, like, really good college try to make me change my mind, I need to be in third person perspective. Because if you actually torture me and make me go through that scene again, then I'm going to hate this game all over again. The whole point is to see if you can change my mind.
Now, granted, I'm not out here saying that Heavy Rain is a masterpiece.
No.
I'm out here saying that it's less than the sum of its parts. That there are some scenes, there are some moments that are really, really cool. It's a game made up of several really, really cool moments that when you put them together, you're like, this is a bad mystery. This is stupid. Why? You're looking for a serial killer and you stumble across another serial killer? What? How? What? Why? How? This is dumb. Like, it doesn't...
Yeah.
The moments, when you're in the moment, it's really cool.
Yeah. All right. So, and Bloody Reaper says we should play Stray. We should play Stray.
I do really want to play Stray.
And another game I want to play with you is It Takes Two.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta keep a list of this, of stuff that we could play together. I wouldn't mind doing Takes Two with you. And I think that we would fight very gloriously on that one.
I have a GameHounds notes document that's like, I put the games I played for each week, the news links there, games to keep track of, and then even like a list of games of 2022. And like the list of everything I've played for the year.
Okay, I'm never going to give you a hard time about not researching for a show because I don't do that.
Yeah, no, I've got...
So yes, put that on there. We want to play Stray.
Yeah. Well, now I'll put in
a
new category.
Games we should play together.
Games to play with. I'm trying to type with one hand because I got a cat in the other. Games to play with Edie. Oh, I'll do capitalization later.
Yeah.
It Takes Two. Stray.
Heavy Rain. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the three that we talked about. All right. So let's try Heavy Rain tonight. And yes, Stray is definitely on that list. AC Ray says, I just watch a pirated Sandman, so serial killer conventions seem the norm anyway. Yeah, point.
Nice.
All right, so yeah, we'll do.
If we do it tonight, let's do it later. Like
what time?
The thing is, later is always better for me. Generally, my gaming time starts at 11.
I gotta go to bed at like 12:30.
Okay. Like maybe 8:30?
Yeah. let's make it easy on you. 8:30 tonight Pacific
Okay.
time. So that would be 11:30 tonight Eastern time. Sorry, Easterns.
That'll give me time to download the game too.
Right. Yeah, that Nick can, well, you can download as soon as we're off here so that you can download it. And I think it probably has to be up. No, if you're downloading it doesn't have to be updated. But yeah, we'll be on Twitch right here. Thank you very much for the link there. We're going to be on Twitch with revisiting and seeing if we can change each other's minds. I'm going to try and convince Nick that Heavy Rain is a worse game than he thinks it is. He's going to be trying to convince me it's a better game than I think it is. So we're going to revisit it and see if it still stands up to our own opinions. 8:30 p.m. Pacific, 11:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much, AC Wraith. All right, anything else that we want to talk about before we close out the show, Nick?
Sandman's really cool. Good
Is
on
it?
AC Wraith. Yeah.
Okay, I will remember
Mention that.
And on that note, let's close this out.
Still up.
You've been listening to GameHounds, episode 652. We recorded this on Sunday, September 11th, 2022. I've been Edie Sellers. With me has been Nick DeNicola. Ways to get a hold of us: gamehounds.net is our website. Gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker, Twitch, and Facebook. On Facebook and Twitch, we are The Gamehounds. On YouTube, we are Gamehounds Vids, V-I-D-S, all one word, Gamehounds Vids as in videos. We would love to have you join us. Thank you to everyone in the chat room. Holy crap, you guys are awesome. We had a bunch of people that we haven't seen in a long time, but thank you to AC Wraith for being our link bitch, as you are every week, and providing all the links. If we mention a game or anything on the show and you want to find it, go to the comments of wherever you are, wherever you watched it. You will find the links because AC Wraith provides them. Thank you to all of the listeners. And also I want to say thank you to the patrons. Our patrons are so awesome. You guys have, if were it not for you, my friends, we would not be here. You help us. If you ever want to be a patron of ours, it is patreon.com/The Gamehounds. We would love to have you there and to be joining us there. We got asked for $1 a month. That's all we ask to help fund this show. And I think at the end of this actual show, I may have something for you to watch about us. But yes, about those patrons. If you listen to the show after the show, we do have an actual voice version of this, the podcast, that is on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, wherever podcasts show up. Maybe not Spreaker, but wherever podcasts show up, that's pretty much where we are. If you, A, can't find our podcast wherever you are, please let us know. We will put it there. B, if you do listen to our podcast somewhere, please leave us feedback. It helps others find us. And also, if you watch us on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook, please like, please subscribe, please hit buttons, please follow, whatever it is. We would appreciate it. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great week, and bye-bye. Save. GH652 raw. And audio is saved. I'm sorry I got a little distracted there because I had something prepared and I totally did not I totally forgot to have it in front of me at the end of the show. I want to send out a big thank you to all of our patrons who do subscribe through our Patreon. As I said, patreon.com/The Gamehounds. I'm going to run a little clip, and here are our patrons. Thank you to you. Were it not for you, we would not be here. Tor the Weege, Peter Como, Eric Baker, Anonymous, Pissed, and Andy H. Thank you for being here. We do be part of this show. We do appreciate it. I can't think of anything else to tell you other than we'll see. Hopefully, if you're watching now still, we'll see you back at on the Twitch channel at 8:30 Pacific, 11:30 p.m. Eastern tonight to maybe get into. Man, I'm having a brain crap all of a sudden. The game. Heavy Rain. Thank you. All right, everyone. Have a great night. Have a great day. Please be safe. If you're in a place where you're having huge heat waves, drink lots of water, and we will talk to you next week, if not sooner. Of course, tonight. Also remember Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific for Crusader Kings or something else, and then also on Saturdays at 4 p.m. more gaming with me. See you later. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.